Alrighty, folks, it is Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you got your week started off good. And I have packages on my website starting at just $1.99 for 30 days of service. I also connected on 5 out of my last 6 board member tier package plays on that very same website. And the good news is I have another board member tier package play going off here this evening. Now, if you sign up for that membership here today, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. The math works out to be just $1.66 a day. I currently have over 560 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. With that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Brewers at the Phillies, 6:40 p.m. East. Philadelphia is the $2.10 favorite, totals 9.5. Aaron Nola for the Titans, Julio Teheran for Milwaukee. Now, Teheran's got an ERA in the 3s, along with a solid 1.02 whip. And as a team, the Brewers are on a 4-game winning streak. They pitched 3 shutouts during that stretch. They're facing a Philly team who's not overly selective at the plate. These guys are in the bottom 5 in the National League in walks per 9 at the dish. They're also striking out over 9.1 times a game at the plate as well. That puts them in the bottom 5 in the National League in that category. And even if the bats go crazy at the bank here tonight, shaky Aaron Nola has 6 losses on the year and an ERA of 4.39. Christian Pache is out for Philly. Rowdy Tellez inactive for Milwaukee. The Brewers saw their last 3 straight road games stay under the number. They're also 21-12 to the under against National League opponents on the road. 3 out of Aaron Nola's last 5 starts fell under the number as well. Give me Milwaukee plus 1.5, under 9.5. Next game, Guardians Pirates, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Pittsburgh's minus $1.20, totals 8 runs. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh, Logan Allen for Cleveland. Allen's recorded only 2 losses in 62-plus innings. The lefty averages over a strikeout an inning and has an ERA in the low 3s. And even though they haven't been offensive powerhouses, the Guardians are they're a tough out at the plate. They actually strike out fewer times a game on the road than any other lineup in baseball. Josh Naylor's got the 5th most RBI in the majors. He's also hitting .310. Meanwhile, Jose Ramirez, he's been walked 43 times and has a 3.2 wins above replacement average. Now, they're facing a Pittsburgh team who's played some really bad baseball here recently. They lost 8 out of their last 9. And they averaged only 2.6 runs a game during that time frame. No real surprise here, folks. The Buccos are now a bottom 5 run-producing lineup in the National League. As good as Mitch Keller's been this year on the bump, the Pirates just don't want to win for the guy. They took the loss in 4 out of their last 5 Keller starts. Now, injury-wise, Ke'Bryan Hayes and Ji-Hwan Bae are both still out for Pittsburgh. 5 out of the Buccos' last 6 Keller starts finished under the total. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Cleveland. Give me the Guardians plus $1, under 8. Next game, Dodgers, Orioles, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus $1.25 at Camden Yards, totals 9.5. Tyler Wells for Baltimore, Michael Grove for Los Angeles. Now, Grove's recorded just 1 win through 47 innings of work. He's got an ERA close to 7 along with a 1.55 whip. Now, these Dodger pitchers really struggle away from home as well. They're in the bottom 5 in runs allowed per game while traveling. Now, they're facing a Baltimore lineup who's no stranger to scoring runs. These guys are a top 5 run-producing team in the American League. Ryan O'Hearn hits .304 with an OPS of .865. Meanwhile, Austin Hayes, he has the 9th highest batting average in the major leagues. And even if the O's struggle in the box, they've got a real good one in Tyler Wells on the mound. Right, he's got 103 strikeouts and a .93 whip. Now, injury-wise, Seti Mullins is questionable for Baltimore. 3 out of the O's last 4 at Camden Yards got over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. The Dodgers went 7-2 to the over in their last 9 interleague road games. Give me Baltimore minus $1.25, over 9.5. Next ball game, Padres Blue Jays 7:07 Eastern start time. San Diego's minus $1.30, totals 9. Joe Musgrove for San Diego, Alek Manoah for Toronto. And even though Manoah's been dog shit this year, the Blue Jays are playing some really good baseball at the moment. They're on a 4-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 8 out of their last 9. And a lot of that is due to some choice hitting. They really don't strike out a whole lot, and they're also in the top 5 in the American League in hits per game. Bo Bichette, he's got 126 hits on the year, along with 198 total bases. Of course, Vlad Guerrero, he is the team leader in runs batted in. Now, they're facing a Padres team on the other side of things who they lost their last 3 straight themselves, and they actually play their worst baseball on the road. They're just 19-27 while traveling this year, and they're in the bottom 3 in road hits per game. 5 out of San Diego's last 6 interleague road games fell under the posted total. Toronto went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Blue Jays plus $1.10, under 9. Next matchup I have for you. White Sox, Mets. 7:10 East. The New York Mets are minus $1.20 in Flushing, Queens. Totals 8.5. Carlos Carrasco for New York. Lucas Giolito for Chicago. Giolito's got an ERA in the 3s along with 117 strikeouts. Now, the hard-throwing righty does come into today's matchup with a winning record and a 1.14 whip. As much as the Sox have struggled this year, they are playing .500 baseball against the National League on the road. Their pitching staff also strikes out more batters per 9 than any other team besides one. Now, they're facing a Mets club who's got one of the worst hitting lineups in the majors themselves. As a matter of fact, these guys average fewer hits per 9 at home than any other lineup in the bigs. Now, more recently, the Mets lost 4 out of their last 5, and they actually scored just 6 total runs during that stretch, really struggling offensively at the plate. Eloy Jimenez is questionable for Chicago. 7 out of the Sox last 10 ball games fell under the total. New York saw 3 out of their last 4 in Flushing, Queens stay under the line. Give me Chicago plus $1, under 8.5. Next matchup, Giants, Reds, 7:10 East. San Francisco's minus 135 on the road, totals 11 runs. Anthony DeSclafani for San Francisco, Luke Weaver for Cincinnati. And out of 73 innings of work this year, starting pitcher Luke Weaver's recorded only 2 wins. He's got an ERA in the 7s along with a 1.62 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Reds have imploded offensively over the past handful of games. They're currently on a 4-game skid, and they were actually shut out 3 times during that stretch. Now, the Reds also struggle with strikeouts in the box. They're fanning 9.1 times a game at the Great American Ballpark. Now, they're facing former Red Anthony DeSclafani, who has 72 punch-outs himself and a solid 1.19 whip. Now, the Red Hot Giants are on a 5-game winning streak, and in addition to that, they've had little issue scoring on the road. They're currently a top 5 run-producing team away from home in the National League. Lamont Wade, he's been walked 56 times this year, and he has 115 total bases. Meanwhile, Austin Slater's hitting .333 with an OPS in the 900s. Tyro Estrada is still out for the Giants. 6 out of San Francisco's last 10 ball games fell under the total. Meanwhile, Cincy saw their last 3 straight at home stay under the line. Give me San Francisco minus 135, under 11. Next ball game, it is going to be D-backs, Braves, 7:20 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's $1.90, totals 10.5. Bryce Elder for the Braves, Zach Davies for Arizona. Now, Davies has been getting knocked around a bit this year. He's got an ERA in the sixes along with a 1.53 whip. And out of 53-plus innings, the righties recorded only one win. As a matter of fact, the D-backs lost their last 6 straight games where Davies threw out the first pitch. They averaged only 3 runs a game during that span. And unfortunately for their hitters, they're going to have to face here today Bryce Elder, who's been more than solid for the Braves. He's recorded only 2 losses in 106 innings of work. The righties also got an ERA in the 2s. And even if, for some reason, Elder struggles here today, he is backed by the most dangerous lineup in the National League. These guys lead the NL right now in run production and hits. Ronald Acuna's got the 3rd highest batting average and OPS average in the majors. He's also stolen 43 bases and has a 5.4 wins above replacement. Matt Olson, he's got the 2nd most home runs and RBI in the majors himself. Eddie Rosario's banged up for Atlanta. Keep an eye on him. The Braves have seen a bunch of overs at Truist Park this year. They're 22-9 to the over against National League opponents at home. Arizona's 60% to the over against NL opponents on the road. Give me Atlanta minus 1.5, over 10.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Marlins at the Cardinals, 7:45 East. St. Louis is $1.50, totals 8. Jordan Montgomery for St. Louis, Edward Cabrera for Miami. Now, Cabrera's got a handful of wins on the year and a whole bunch of strikeouts. The righties fanned 84 batters in just 67 innings. The Marlins have also had little problems getting base runners. They're actually a top 5 hit-producing lineup. Luis Arias, he's hitting a league-best 378. 161 total bases for Arias as well. Meanwhile, Jorge Soler's in the top 5 in the National League in home runs. They're facing Jordan Montgomery, who's lost 7 games and has a losing record. And that's not overly shocking. These Cardinal pitchers allow more hits per game at home than any other team except for one. Tommy Edmonds still out for the Redbirds. Garcia, Davis, and Chisholm out for the Fish. 8 out of Miami's last 10 ball games got over the total. Meanwhile, the Cards saw their last 4 straight at Busch Stadium get over the line. Give me Miami plus 1.5, over 8 runs. Next matchup should be a good one. Rays at the Rangers, 8:05 Eastern start time. Texas is minus 130 at Globe Life Field, totals 8.5. Nathan Eovaldi for Texas, Taj Bradley for Tampa Bay. The Bradley's got an ERA of 5.43, along with a 1.39 whip. Now, the Rays have also lost 7 out of their last 10, and they average under 3.5 runs a game during that time frame. They're facing 10-win Nathan Eovaldi, who's got an ERA in the 2s, along with 109 strikeouts. And no real shock here, folks. The righty's got a stingy 1.02 whip. And even if Eovaldi struggles, the Rangers are the best hitting franchise in the league. Adolis Garcia's 80 RBI. They're the most in the majors. Meanwhile, Corey Seager's hitting 349 with an OPS in the thousands. Now, the Rangers did go 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay saw 3 out of their last 4 on the road stay under the total themselves. Give me Texas minus 130, under 8.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Nationals at the Cubs, 8:05 Wrigley Field. Chicago's minus $1.75 in the friendly confines, totals 9 runs. Jameson Taillon for Chicago, Patrick Corbin for Washington. Now, Corbin's got double-digit losses on the year with an ERA close to 5. These Nats pitchers are also allowing over 5.1 runs a game. That's nearly a league worst. They're facing a Chicago club who has little issue getting base runners. They're in the top 3 in the National League in walks per 9 at the dish. They're also in the top 10 in the National League in run production at home. Cody Bellinger is hitting .305 at the plate this season. OPS nearly in the 900s. Meanwhile, Nico Horner is currently the team leader in runs batted in. Swanson, Rios, and Madrigal are still out for Chicago. Robles and Pineda inactive for Washington. The Nats saw their last 4 on the road get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now the Cubs on the other side, they went 80% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Cubs minus 175, over 9. Next matchup, Tigers-Royals, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Detroit's minus $1.50, totals 8.5. Tark Skubal for Detroit, Daniel Lynch for Kansas City. Now, Lynch has recorded just 2 wins on the year, along with an ERA in the 4s. The Royals also score fewer runs per 9 than any other team in the AL Central. They're facing Tark Skubal, who's yet to allow an earned run in a couple of appearances this year. Scoobs has actually struck out 11 batters in just 8 innings of work. He's officially got himself a .50 whip. Now, these Detroit pitchers have also been solid on the road this year. They're a top 5 strikeout team on the road in the American League. Beatty and Olivares are still out for Kansas City. The Royals saw 3 out of their last 4 at Kauffman Stadium stay under the number. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Detroit went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Tigers minus $1.50, under 8.5. Next game, Astros Rockies, 8:40 Eastern first pitch. This game's currently off the board. Hunter Brown for Houston, Noah Davis for Colorado. And out of 18-plus innings, righty Noah Davis, he has an ERA close to 11. These Rocky pitchers, they allow more hits a game than any other pitching staff in baseball. They're facing a Houston lineup on the other side who has no issue getting base runners, especially on the road. Houston's a top 5 hit-producing lineup away from home. Kyle Tucker has the most hits in the lineup, 44 walks at the plate as well. Meanwhile, Alex Bregman's been walked 51 times this year himself. He also has 144 total bases. And even if for some reason the Stros have problems at the plate, starting pitcher Hunter Brown's got a handful of wins on the year, along with 111 strikeouts. Now, Altuve and Alvarez are still out of the lineup for Houston. Randall Grichuk, questionable for the Rockies. Give me Houston getting the job done for some money line cash. Next matchup, it is going to be Yankees at the Angels, 9:38 Eastern start time. The Angels are minus $1.20 on their own field, totals 9 runs. Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles, Domingo Germán for New York. And following a slow start to the season, Domingo Germán's starting to look more like himself. He's got a handful of wins on the year, along with a stingy whip of 1.07. Now, the righties also struck out 92 batters this year in 91 plus. The Yankees are facing an Angels club on the other side of things who lost 7 out of their last 9 themselves, and they just strike out way too much at home. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the American League in strikeouts per 9 in their own stadium. And in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with New York, the Angels have been held to under 2.9 runs a game. Trout, Rendon, and Drury still out for the Angels. 7 out of Sandoval's last 9 outings did fall under the total. Meanwhile, 3 out of New York's last 4 road games fell under the line themselves. Give me the Yankees plus $1, under 9. Next matchup, Bosox A's, 9:40 p.m. East. Boston's the $2 favorite on the road, totals 9 runs. Looks like Chris Murphy for Boston, Luis Medina for Oakland. Medina's just 2-7 with an ERA of 6.34. The A's have the worst record in the majors, and they score the fewest amount of runs. Now they're facing Chris Murphy here today, who's got an ERA of 2.16, and he's yet to record a loss. And even if Murph has a rough go of things here today, the Bo Sox love to hit. They're a top 3 hit-producing lineup in the major leagues. Masataka Yoshida, he is the 7th highest batting average in the major leagues right now. Him and Justin Turner are tied for the club lead in hits, both with over 100 hits on the year. Meanwhile, Rafi Devers, he is fourth in the big leagues in runs batted in. 3 out of Boston's last 4 road games got over the posted total. Oakland went 70% to the over in their last 10. Give me Boston minus 1.5, over 9. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Twins-Mariners game, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus 135, total 7.5. Brian Wu for Seattle, Bailey Ober for Minnesota. Now, Obes has a 2.61 ERA and a .97 whip. These Minnesota pitchers have been unhittable at times this year. They actually strike out more batters a game on the road than any other pitching staff in baseball. They're facing a Seattle club who strikes out 9.8 times a game themselves. The M's have also had all kinds of problems getting on the base paths. They're a bottom 5 hit producing team at home. And out of 34 2/3 innings of work this year, starting pitcher Brian Wu recorded only 1 win. Gordon, Lewis, Polanco, and Miranda are still out for Minnesota. 6 out of the Twins' last 10 meetings with Seattle fell under the total. They held the M's to just 3.6 runs a game during that time frame. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me the Twins plus $1.15, under 7.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Milwaukee Brewers plus 1.5, under 9.5 runs. Cleveland Guardians plus $1, under 8. Baltimore Orioles minus $1.25, over 9.5. And if you want to see which one of these free picks that I'm actually betting on personally, I have a package on my website that costs just $1.99 for 30 days of service. Give me Toronto plus $1.10, under 9. White Sox plus $1, under 8.5. Giants minus $1.35, under 11. Atlanta Braves minus 1.5, over 10.5 runs. Miami Marlins plus 1.5, over 8. Texas Rangers minus 130, under 8.5. Chicago Cubs minus 175, over 9. Detroit minus $1.50, under 8.5. Give me the Astros getting the job done for some money line cash. New York Yankees plus $1, under 9. Boston minus 1.5, over 9 runs. With my next and final free pick for the video, give me Minnesota plus $1.15, under 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.